Sir Kenneth Mathieson Dalglish, born March 4, 1951, stands as a monumental figure in British football, celebrated for his extraordinary achievements as both player and manager. At 74 years old as of May 2025, the affectionately nicknamed King Kenny holds legendary status, particularly at Liverpool Football Club, where his unparalleled success cemented his place among football's elite. Dalglish's professional journey began at Celtic FC, 1971 to 1977, before joining Liverpool for a then British record fee of £440,000. During 13 illustrious years, 1977 to 1990, he made 515 appearances, scored 172 goals, and won numerous trophies, including 6 First Division titles and 3 European Cups. His first managerial spell at Liverpool, 1985 to 1991, brought further glory with 3 league titles and 2 FA Cups before his unexpected resignation. After successful stints elsewhere, including a Premier League title, he returned to Liverpool for a second managerial tenure, 2011 to 2012. This report analyses Dalglish's leadership during 2 defining crises: the 1989 Hillsborough disaster and the 2011 to 2012 Luis Suarez racism controversy. On April 15, 1989, a devastating crush at Hillsborough Stadium during an FA Cup semi-final resulted in the deaths of 96 Liverpool fans, later rising to 97. As Liverpool manager, Dalglish witnessed the unfolding horror and became central to the club's response. In the aftermath, Dalglish's actions transcended conventional managerial duties. He ensured Liverpool was represented at every victim's funeral, personally attending numerous services. He organised hospital visits to injured survivors and transformed Anfield into a sanctuary for grieving families. His guiding principle was powerfully simple. They supported Liverpool. Now it is the turn of Liverpool Football Club to support them, while maintaining a composed public demeanour. Privately, Dalglish suffered immensely. His wife Marina described him as terrible to live with during this period. The stress manifested physically through conditions including shingles and severe skin rashes requiring daily injections. He also began taking sleeping pills to cope with the emotional turmoil. His son Paul observed that his father never dealt with absorbing all that information because he felt his need was so much lower than everyone else's. This cumulative strain directly contributed to Dalglish's shocking resignation in February 1991, despite Liverpool being top of the league. He later confirmed, "Although I didn't realise it at the time, Hillsborough was the most important factor in my decision to leave Liverpool in 1991. He described the strain as having kept growing until I finally snapped, and admitted he simply needed a rest, having run out of gas." During this period, Dalglish was widely portrayed as a figure of immense dignity and compassion. His media interactions were characterised by profound empathy and determination to counter misinformation. He took a particularly firm stance against the Sun newspaper's infamous "The Truth" headline, containing baseless allegations blaming Liverpool fans. When approached by editor Kelvin Mackenzie about making amends, Dalglish reportedly demanded they publish another headline, "We lied," in the exact same size, a demand Mackenzie refused. Ian Herbert of The Independent later characterised Dalglish's presence during this period as colossal and heroic, while Brendan Rodgers described his leadership after Hillsborough as more inspiring than any goal scored or any trophy won. This contemporary perception solidified his legendary status on Merseyside and earned him widespread respect across the football world. During Dalglish's second managerial spell, Liverpool striker Luis Suarez was accused of racially abusing Manchester United's Patrice Evra during a match on October 15, 2011. The FA's investigation found Suarez guilty of using the Spanish word negro towards Evra multiple times, resulting in an 8-match ban and £40,000 fine. From the outset, both Dalglish and Liverpool FC staunchly defended Suarez. The most controversial moment came on December 21, 2011, when Dalglish and the entire Liverpool squad wore T-shirts displaying Suarez's image during their pre-match warm-up, just one day after the FA's guilty verdict. This display drew widespread condemnation from anti-racism organisations, media commentators, and former players. Years later, Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher described this as a massive mistake. Patrice Evra expressed profound disappointment, feeling it sent a damaging message about racial abuse. The controversy escalated further further in February 2012 when Suarez refused to shake Evra's hand during a match, reportedly prompting direct intervention from Liverpool's owner John Henry, after which both Suarez and Dalglish issued apologies. During this period, Dalglish's media interactions contrasted starkly with his Hillsborough-era appearances. Multiple accounts describe his press conference demeanour as rude, sarcastic, evasive and defensive. Former Liverpool player Mark Lawrenson expressed unease, noting he sometimes didn't recognise the Dalglish he saw in front of cameras, who appeared to be wearing a suit of armour on. Despite the FA's detailed 115-page report finding Suarez's evidence unreliable in relation to matters of critical importance and inconsistent with the contemporaneous evidence, Dalglish maintained that Suarez had not been treated fairly, stating, "There are a lot of things we'd like to say and a lot of things we could say, but we don't want to get ourselves into trouble. We know what has gone on. We know what is not in the report, and that is important for us." The handling of the Suarez case was widely described as a public relations disaster that tarnished the reputation of the previously untouchable King of the Cop and contributed to Dalglish's dismissal in May 2012, despite winning the League Cup that season. Sir Alex Ferguson publicly stated he wasn't surprised at Kenny leaving and suggested that Liverpool's owner obviously looked at the Suarez incident, and felt it wasn't handled in the right way. The examination of these two defining crises reveals several insights into Dalglish's leadership. A consistent thread running through both episodes is Dalglish's profound sense of loyalty. In the Hillsborough aftermath, this loyalty manifested as a deeply moral commitment to supporting those who had suffered unimaginable tragedy. In the Suarez affair, this same loyalty, when applied to a player found guilty of racial abuse, was perceived very differently. This stark contrast demonstrates how the ethical context fundamentally shapes the perception and legitimacy of unwavering support. Loyalty to victims of catastrophic injustice is heroic. Perceived loyalty to a player found guilty of racial abuse was widely condemned as ethically unsound. Dalglish may have struggled to differentiate the application of this deeply held value in a radically different ethical landscape. In both crises, Dalglish adopted the role of protector. During Hillsborough, he fiercely protected bereaved families and survivors, confronting distortions by authorities and media. This role was perceived as morally righteous. During the Suarez affair, he again adopted this protective stance, but this time for a player found guilty of racial abuse. A fundamentally different moral context that dramatically altered public perception of the same trait. The approach taken by Dalglish and Liverpool FC to the Suarez racism allegations, particularly the defiant public stance and the controversial T-shirt protest, appears to have been an attempt to cultivate a siege mentality, a common tactic in sports designed to unify a team against perceived external adversaries. This us against the world narrative was evident in club statements questioning the FA's findings. However, while such a mentality can be effective in galvanising a team against sporting opponents, its application in the context of a serious racism allegation proved to be a catastrophic misjudgment. The marked contrast in Dalglish's media handling between his two managerial spells also reflects a significant transformation in the media landscape. By his 2011 to 2012 return, managers were increasingly expected to be polished media performers, adept at navigating complex PR challenges. Dalglish's more abrasive style appeared out of step with these contemporary expectations, as evidenced by his visible irritation with what he termed the Twitter generation and criticism fueled by social media. His self-confessed weariness with the ego-pampering and attention that camera-loving managers crave, and his protective, club-first approach. "I would put the club before any story you gave the journalists," often translated into a combative demeanour when facing scrutiny. This approach proved ill-suited for the complex socio-cultural and media landscape of a high-profile racism case in the modern era. Sir Kenny Dalglish's career offers a compelling case study in leadership during crisis. His response to Hillsborough transcended conventional duties, transforming his public image from revered football icon to humanitarian leader. The sheer scale of his personal involvement was extraordinary by any measure, and his actions resonated deeply within Liverpool, a community noted for its strong sense of solidarity. Conversely, his handling handling of the Suarez allegations raised significant questions about his judgment and ability to navigate complex moral issues under intense modern media scrutiny. His unwavering defence of Suarez, particularly in the face of the FA's detailed findings of racial abuse, was viewed by many as misguided at best, and at worst as a failure to acknowledge the gravity of racism. The juxtaposition of these two episodes illustrates how leadership is ultimately evaluated against the perceived moral rectitude of the cause being championed. During Hillsborough, Dalglish unequivocally aligned himself with the victims and the pursuit of truth, occupying an unassailable moral high ground. In the Suarez case, his steadfast defence of his player was interpreted by many as an alignment with an individual found guilty of racist abuse, a morally untenable position for the public figurehead of a globally recognised institution. The immense personal toll exacted by Hillsborough, the hero deeply wounded by his unwavering commitment to a noble cause, adds another dimension to this complex narrative. This allows for a more nuanced understanding of Dalglish, acknowledging both his profound contributions and his significant errors of judgment. Ultimately, Sir Kenny Dalglish remains a figure of profound complexity, a man defined both by towering triumphs and challenging trials, whose legacy continues to be debated, analysed, and, particularly on Merseyside, deeply cherished.